everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about goals. 2025 is here. It's a new year, fresh beginnings, new goals. I know I'm a little bit late to the game, or a lot late to the game, because I'm sure all the videos for 2025 goals were put up like weeks ago, but I've actually been focused on achieving goals instead of just setting goals. So from December and through January, I have been really focused on my house. I decluttered so much, I organized, cleaned. I wanted to start the new year with a new clean house, and so I've been focused on my house a lot. So in January now, I'm starting to come back to the channel, start focusing on makeup now that the house is in a good shape. So with regards to 2025 goals, I don't like to use goals that would cause me stress. So sometimes I call them intentions to just soften the word a little, because at the end of the day, I want to have fun with makeup. I want to feel some sort of progress, some sort of satisfaction. So I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. Now I have different categories and my goals are different for different categories. There's also going to be some low buys involved in my goals and like a project usage. Not necessarily project planning, because project planning is way too stressful for me and just not fun. But project usage motivates me to use my makeup. And by project usage, I mean you just kind of set goals of how many times you want to use the makeup. So let's get started. Let's start with the categories. So category number 1 is lipsticks. If you guys saw my video, I decluttered like 300 lipsticks. So I've really cut my lipstick collection down. And right now I have less than 100. I will be doing a makeup inventory in a separate video, and I'll tell you guys exactly how much makeup I have at the beginning of the year. So with regards to my lipsticks, it's not so much usage, but I just want to be able to catalog my lipsticks. Like do the swatches and catalog everything by color, by formula, by brand, so that I actually know what I have. Because lipsticks is one category where I'm willing to buy more. I did buy this huge rack from Amazon. It's golden. I have not put it together yet, but I am okay with spending some money on new lipsticks. Not to go overboard, but the thing that I promised myself is first get to know the collection that you have as step 1. After I've done that, then I can allow myself to buy more lipsticks. So the cataloging, the lipstick part needs to happen first before I buy new lipsticks. So I will take you along with me on how I do the cataloging, if that's a word, so that maybe I'll give you some ideas of how to catalog your lipsticks. Other than that, I don't really have any sort of like usage goals for my lipsticks. I just want to know what I have so that when I'm putting together my makeup, I can go to the exact lipstick that I need. I'm also using a different setting on my camera and I look completely different. Like usually my videos are so dark. I have so many lights on, but the setting that I was using, my camera, my video would always be dark. And I'm like, why does my video look like this compared to other YouTubers when I have a bazillion lights? And I was using an auto feature, and I don't know if the brightness of the lights was actually making it auto correct to a darker setting. But now I just use a regular setting. There's a movie setting, like for like moving videos, you know, movies, like movies that you see. So there's a movie setting, and I'm using that right now to film. And everything just looks, I'm looking at the viewfinder, everything looks so bright. But I feel like it also brightens up things so much that it works like a filter. So like you'll hear YouTubers or influencers say, oh, we don't use any filters, this is just the real me. But the thing is, certain settings in your camera and your lighting can work in such a way that it blurs out imperfections. So you still shouldn't look at a YouTuber or an influencer and think, oh wow, their skin looks so smooth, oh wow, their makeup looks perfect, because things can still be getting blurred. Like, but at the same time, I actually feel happier with this setting, because every single time I would film, I would be like, why doesn't the makeup look as good as it looks in person? My makeup was actually looking less sparkly, less beautiful in the videos versus when I would look in the mirror, and I'm like, the camera's not picking up the beautiful sparkling from the makeup. So I hope this setting is still realistic. Fingers crossed. Okay, enough with the tangent. Let's go back to makeup intentions. Next category is blush. Blush, honestly, no specific intentions. I'm just gonna intend to use blush. I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention to what I have, but I don't have any categorizing, cataloging kind of intentions with blush. I'm just gonna pay a little bit more attention to it. So nothing too extravagant, no specific plans for blushes. And when it comes to buying, I'm gonna keep it pretty low, because I feel like I don't need a whole lot of blush. On top of that, I also have a couple of face palettes, like cheek palettes, that have a lot of blushes in them. So I don't really need more blush. I feel like with the blush category, I'm good. I do want to maybe purchase a few nude blushes, as I tried to do and then completely failed if you saw my last video. So I might be on the lookout for some nude blushes, but that's really about it. Blushes, I'm taking a little bit of break, but still gonna pay attention to my collection and try to use different blushes and get to know it. The next category is one of my biggest categories. That's eyeshadow palettes. I want to use my eyeshadows. I used so much of my eyeshadow palettes last year. I used Natasha Denona a lot, like a lot. I used Huda, Sigma. I wanted to use ABH. Didn't really get to use those palettes much, so I'm going to try to give them some love this year. But Natasha Denona tends to be my favorite. And with Huda not doing her bigger palettes anymore, let me know if you guys would still be interested in me using those palettes and seeing some looks from those palettes, because, you know, they're gonna be obsolete. But we still have those palettes and they're not expired, so they're still usable. So maybe you guys would still be interested in me like doing looks with them and sharing it with you guys. But Natasha Denona is still gonna be a pretty big category. So I was thinking of actually doing like marathons where maybe like 2 months worth of just focusing on Natasha Denona. So for like, let's say next 2 months, I just keep on doing looks from my Natasha Denona palettes one by one, and I think I have like 10 of them, so I am gonna need 2 months to do lots and lots of look with 10 palettes. I might even need 3 months, but that's what I did last year. At the beginning of the year, I was very focused on Natasha Denona, and I want to do the same thing again. Main focus Natasha Denona. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the Huda Beauty palettes. I will do a decent amount of Sigma, but not as much as Natasha. And then I also want to play around with my ABH palettes. And then this year, when it comes to buying new makeup, obviously I am going to buy any Natasha Denona palette that comes out, unless I really feel like, it's not for me. But I probably will buy any new Natasha Denona palette that comes out. And then other new palettes that I will buy is Colourpop. I am in this weird sort of Colourpop kick where I just keep buying the Colourpop palettes. They're affordable, it's good quality, they're fun to kind of use. Like, it's fun for me to actually like try out these Colourpop palettes, and they're affordable. I don't want to spend too much money on makeup. I really don't. And so I will also talk about my money spending goals with makeup at the end of the video. So with eyeshadow, main goal, use my eyeshadow palettes and buy few. And I would love to also have some better relationships with brands and get more stuff on PR. So the only PR I get right now is Nomad, but there are some other companies that are starting to reach out. So, you know, hopefully as I grow, build better relationships with brands, I'll get more PR. That way, you know, I can show you guys more palettes, more looks without worrying about money. Next category is foundations. If you watched my video, the makeup that I used in 2024, I think I finished our 5 or 6 foundations last year, and I'm gonna make the same goal. I want to finish 5 foundations in 2025. And foundations is gonna be a low buy category, so I just wanna focus on using them up. And if there's a foundation that I really, really love, I'm not gonna use it up, I'm gonna keep it. Because I want to use it on special occasions. So far, I really like the Lancome Care and Go foundation. Every time I go to the office, I use that foundation. And actually lately, I haven't even been wearing foundation. Like, having this sort of project usage is motivating me and pushing me to use a foundation. Otherwise, I've just been using concealer. Even when I do an eyeshadow look. I do my eyeshadow, but then on my face, I just use concealer. So no blush, just eyeshadow, concealer, and lipstick. Other categories in my makeup collection, it's like whatever. I don't need more. I can literally use the same Milani Silky Matte bronzer for years and years and years. It's a really good bronzer. I could just keep using that. And then the other one that I keep using is, let me get it. The Ambient palette. Hourglass Ambient palette. So I have the Dragon one, and I use this bronzer right here. It's easy for me, it's convenient. I use the bronzer, I use the powder, I'm done with my face. So not gonna buy any bronzers. I have plenty of setting sprays, don't need to buy any more setting sprays. So no buy bronzer, no buy setting sprays. I have enough powders too, so no buy for powders. Mascara I will only buy if I need it. Otherwise, I'm not planning on trying out a mascara. I'm very satisfied with the mascaras I have. I use Winky Lux and Lancome mascaras, and they're great. I also don't need highlighters. Sometimes I just don't even use a highlighter. But if I need to, I have the Ambient palette. I just use a highlighter from there. And I do still have other highlighters, so I don't need another highlighter. I think those are all the categories, right? So overall, most of the categories, I'm keeping it like a no buy or a low buy. And then with lipsticks, I'm gonna decide after I catalog them so that I really know what shades I have. And I think that will help me decide if I need to buy new lipsticks. And I am open to buying new lipsticks. So that's not like on a low buy or no buy. So I am open to buying more lipsticks, but only after I catalog them. And overall, my money spending goals for 2025 is that for the first 6 months, I'm gonna be on a very, very low buy. So for the first 6 months this year, you're gonna see a lot of like older makeup usage. I do really want to focus my first 6 months on just using my makeup and trying to create content with the makeup that I have and see how it goes. So my intention would be to not spend any more than, I would say, 2 Colourpop palettes, like $50. That would be great. If I can kind of keep myself under control, focus on the makeup that I have, and then have like a really like a small budget according to, you know, if you compare it to other YouTubers of like $50 per month, you know, except for if like a Natasha Denona palette gets released, I think that will be good. And then after 6 months of creating content without spending too much money, I want to see how it works. Am I able to form a good community here on YouTube with just using older makeup, or was it a big failure and I do need to continue to focus on new makeup and buying new makeup and reviewing new makeup? And so it's kind of like an experiment that I'm doing for the first 6 months of 2025 and seeing if I can get enough engagement and a good community around me by creating content with mostly the makeup I have. Now, if I get stuff in PR, that'll be new. If I, buy something with my low budget, that will be new. But other than that, it's gonna be whatever I have in my collection. I'm excited. I hope there is enough of you out there who will still enjoy makeup content that is not purely focused on new makeup. And that's it. Those are my makeup intentions. If you guys have any ideas, share with me, please, because I'm not strict with I have to do this for goals. I am kind of leaning toward intentions, and things can change. Some things can change a little bit with time. And if you have any cool ideas, I would, include that in my makeup intentions for 2025. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification. Thank you. Bye.